Hey guys, what's up? It's Jorge the Cuber here and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you guys how to solve the 3x3. So the first thing you guys are going to need to know to solve the cube is the notation of how the cube works. So an example of this is what the different layers are named. So this will help in algorithms. The first layer is the up layer. This is abbreviated as U or U prime. When a layer is signified by a letter, and you see that in an algorithm, that means to turn the layer clockwise. So if you see a U in an algorithm, that would mean to turn this layer clockwise. And if you see a letter with an apostrophe next to it, it means to turn it counterclockwise, like this. So the other layers are called front, right, left, back, and down. Now these layers don't stay the same all the time. They're different depending on which way the cube is facing you. So right now the red is the front side, the yellow is the up side, the green is the right side, the blue is the left side, the orange is the back side, and white is down. Now if I were to turn the cube this way, now blue would be the front side instead of red. Alright, now let's scramble up the cube and get started. So I'll put the moves on screen so you can see them just in case. R, U, R prime, U prime, L, U prime, R prime, F, R, U prime, L, B prime, L prime, U, R prime, U, R, F, D prime, F2, R, D. So the first step in solving the cube is to solve the white cross on the bottom. The first step in doing this is putting all the white edges on the top. So we already have one edge here to get started. So now let's find another white edge. Here's a white and blue one. And we want to make sure that the white part of the edge is always on the top near the yellow center. So for this all we have to do is R. The next one we can see here is the orange edge piece, and now we just have to do an R prime to put that on top. And the last one is this red one right here. This we just need to do an F2 to put on top. Now to pair up the edges with the white center, all we have to do is line them up with the correct center and do an F2. So here's the green and white one. So what we're going to do is we're going to line it up with the green center, do an F2, and now it is lined with the white cross. So now all we have to do is do this for the rest of the edges and the white cross will be solved. So here's the white and red edge piece. So we're going to find the red center and do U moves until this lines up. Do an F2, and now that is also paired up. The next edge is the blue and white edge. So again we find the blue center, do U moves until we line it up, and do an F2. Now the last edge is the white and orange one, and this has become already paired up, so all we have to do is an F2. Now we have the white cross solved, and the next step is to solve the white corners. The first thing we need to do is make sure to remember to put the white cross on the bottom. Next we find a corner with white on it. So here's a corner with white, red, and blue. And since the two colors besides white are red and blue, the first thing we need to do is find the red and blue centers. So here's the blue center and here's the red center. And now we need to put the corner in between these two centers and do this move over and over as needed until this corner is in the right spot. So I'll put the algorithm on screen. It goes R, U, R prime, U prime. And all we need to do is do this as many times as we need until the corner is solved. So let's do it again. R, U, R prime, U prime. again, R, U, R prime, U prime. And now the corner has been solved and it is in the right spot. So now let's find another corner. Here it is the white, green, and orange. So we need to find the green and orange centers. So here they are, and this corner is already in between them. So now all we have to do is the move. R, U, R prime, U prime, and now it is solved. The next thing we need to do is find another corner. So here's the white, blue, and orange. So now let's find the blue and orange sides. Here's the blue and here's the orange. So let's put it in between them and do the algorithm. R, U, R prime, U prime. It's not solved yet, so again, R, U, R prime, U prime. Again, R, U, R prime, U prime. So now we have 3 of the corners solved and we just need to find the last one. So this one is already in between the green and the red centers. So all we need to do is do the algorithm. R, U, R prime, U prime. R, U, R prime, U prime. And now it is solved. Now we have all of the corners solved and the entire first layer. So the third step is to solve these middle layer edges. The first thing we need to do is find an edge that does not have yellow in it, that is in the top layer. So here's one, it is the blue and orange edge. So the first thing we need to do is find the blue and orange centers, so here they are, and do U moves until we find this edge. So what we need to do is we need to look at the front color of the edge and line it up with the correct center, and then we do this algorithm if it has to go into the right slot. U, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, F prime, U, F. And now the edge is in. So now let's find another edge. Here's one, the orange and green. So let's look at the front color, it's green. So let's line it up with the green center and do the right move again, or right algorithm. U, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, F prime, U, F. Here's another edge, the blue and red one. So the front color is red, so let's find the red center and line it up. And this time we have a new algorithm because it needs to go to the left. So the algorithm is U prime, L prime, U, L, U, F, U prime, F prime. So now let's find the final edge. Here it is, the green and red one. So the front color is red, so let's find the red center and line it up. Now let's do the right algorithm. U, R, U prime, R prime, U prime, F prime, U, F. And now we have the first 2 layers solved. An additional note is that if one of these corners is in and it's the wrong way, then all you need to do is insert a yellow edge with one of the algorithms so that it becomes in the top layer, and then you can insert it back in the right way. Now we have solved the first layer and the second layer of the cube, and now the 4th step is to solve the yellow cross. So there are 3 different cases you can have for this. You can either have a yellow dot in the center, which is what we have right now, or you can have a bar that can be either vertical or horizontal, or you can have an L shape like this. And the shape is determined by how many yellow edges are on top. So right now we have the dot case. So what we need to do is use the algorithm that we use for the corners, except we need to put an F in the front and then the back of it. So like this. F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. So now it gave us one of the other cases, so it gave us the L case. So when we get the L case, that means that there are 2 other edges lined up with the yellow center, and they are next to each other. So the way we need to do the L case is to put it in the top right of the cube like this, and do that move, except we're going to do the corner move twice, or algorithm, like this. F, R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. So now the yellow cross is solved. And if you get the bar case, which is two yellow edges are solved but they're opposite of each other, then you need to put it horizontally like this, and then do this algorithm, and I will put it on screen. Now we have the first two layers of the cube solved, and all of the yellow facing edges facing upwards. The next thing we need to do is line all of the yellow edges line them all up with the correct center pieces, just like this one. If you have all four of them lined up, then you can just skip this step. The first thing we need to do is find a way where two of them are lined up. So right now we only have one lined up, so we can just do a U move, and now let's see how many are lined up. Okay, so we have two. This is one of the two cases you can get for this step. One is where the two that are wrong are next to each other like this, and the other one is where they would be across from each other like this or like this. So for this case where they are next to each other, you put them both closest to you on the right side and do this algorithm. R, U2, R prime, U prime, R, U prime, R prime, U prime. And now as you can see, they're all lined up. Now if you were to have them across from each other like this or like this, what you would need to do is put the two that are wrong, one closest to you and one opposite of you, and then you would do that algorithm again, and then you would get the case where they're next to each other. Now we have solved the first two layers of the cube and the yellow cross. We also happen to have the entire yellow side solved, but this will not usually be the case, and you can just ignore it. So now we need to put the yellow corners in the correct spots, kind of like this one where it is in between the blue and the red center or edge pieces. And right now it is fully solved, but usually the yellow side will be on either this side or this side. It doesn't really matter. So what you need to do is find one edge where it is in between the correct two, or one corner where it is in between the correct two edges, like this one, and you need to do this algorithm. U, R, U prime, L prime, U, R prime, U prime, L. And what this algorithm does is it rotates these three corners around. And you may need to do this again in case your corners are not all in the correct spots. If in this case they are, so we can move on to the next step. So now we have solved the first two layers, the yellow cross, and we have put the corners in the correct spots. So the next step is to solve the rest of the cube. What we need to do is find a yellow corner that has not been solved yet and do this move. R prime, D prime, R, D. So now it is not solved, so we do it again. R prime, D prime, R, D. And now once it's solved, you may need to do this a couple more times. Then you do as many U prime moves as you need until you can find another corner that's not solved, and do the same move again and make sure it's in the same spot. R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R, D. So now this corner is solved, so we move on to the next one. R prime, D prime, R, D, R prime, D prime, R, D. And you may need to move the top layer a little bit. And congrats, you've just solved your first Rubik's Cube. So be sure to like and subscribe if you found this video helpful, and congratulations, you can now solve a Rubik's Cube.